party's been too London-centric for too long. Policies haven't been put forward at places like Burnley in mind. You know, the London perspective on life dominates national policy. So when the North needed help with manufacturing industry, it was all about service industries. And on housing, when the North needed help with affordable homes to rent, it was all about selling them off. So national policy has not helped communities like the one in the film.
To what extent do you think immigration is the issue that really drives this and has driven a wedge, if you like, between Labour voters, traditional Labour voters, and the modern party?
Well, it's become the lightning rod for the feeling, you know, the sense that politicians in Westminster are out of touch. It's become the issue that as people have used to illustrate that. And I think the truth about it is free movement of labour had a differential impact on different parts of the country. For the big cities, absolutely, it brought people in and boosted growth. But for the former industrial parts of the country, the parts of the country that I represent, it was having a more complicated effect. It was putting pressure on wages, on GP services, on primary schools. And there was a feeling there that the elite weren't seeing that and didn't live in their world. And I think those are the feelings that came through at the referendum.
Let's talk about the Labour Party, though, and whether it agrees with what you're saying. Because basically, your party is run from London. It's run by a London MP. His foreign secretary shadow is the next constituency. Diane Abbott, Home Secretary, London MP. These people, they're just not... They don't agree with what you're saying. Or they certainly don't agree with the sentiment that immigration needs to be more controlled.
Well, I have spoken up on that, and I've said that I think there does now need to be acceptance that a majority of people voted for a change in the way free movement works. And in my view, the party has to face up to that. But you're right. I think it's not just the Labour Party, I might say. It's the system of governance that we have in our country. It is heavily focused on people who live within the M25.
It is, but I suppose it's a real problem for the Labour Party because it aspires to being a government and it cannot win an election without some of these voters voting for the party. Diane Abbott, in response to you saying free movement is no longer an option, was asked about it. She smirked, apparently, and said, well, Andy's always had these views. The truth is you cannot have access to the single market without a measure of free movement. I just wonder whether actually the coalition that is the Labour Party is breaking down. Metropolitan London Liberals and northern working class voters who've been kind of bound up in the same party, they actually don't agree very fundamentally.
And I'm worried about that. And I think the referendum has really brought that fault line out. You know, I would say to Dan, it's not about my views, it's about what millions of people in the North feel who are not in any way xenophobic or racist, who do want to welcome people here from around the world. But what they see is it's had a direct impact on life in their communities.
And she would say you need to teach them that they bring in tax revenues to pay for some public services. Now, do you believe that the people of Burnley are right? Or do you basically think the people of Burnley are wrong, but we have to listen to them and follow what they say because they want it?
I will never have any truck with xenophobia or racism, and I will always challenge it. But there are practical and legitimate concerns that people in Burnley, Lee and elsewhere
raise. But do you agree with those concerns? You basically think immigration...
Yes, I do.
It's not just about following them, it's that you believe it's a problem.
I don't believe free movement was working for those places because it was having a real impact on wages. You know, there is evidence from the Bank of England that free movement in semi and unskilled occupations has had it's held wages down or even taken them further down. So you know, why wouldn't people have a concern about that? My argument is there is nothing socialist about a system of the free movement of labour that uses where big companies use people like commodities to move them around Europe to drive down labour costs and have a race to the bottom. The left has to kind of break out of this thing that it's everything that comes out of Europe is great and we need to reassess things.
In the polls, Labour, it bounces up and down. Labour's about 14 points behind the Conservatives. In Scotland, Labour is running behind the Conservatives. What on earth can change in the next year, 2 years? We have to see the party repair its relationship with the nation. Well, devolution to the English regions wasn't conceived as the answer to Brexit, but it now must be embraced as such, in my view, and it creates an opportunity for the party to get closer to people again. I have been in Westminster for over 15 years, and I have seen how it has drifted
away from people. I have seen this London-centric approach to life that doesn't provide answers for many parts of the north of England. And my frustration with it has led me to want to leave it and say, actually, I would rather devote my energy there to building a northern Labour voice, if you like, so that we can represent more directly the feelings that people have and develop answers that are right for them. The problem probably was Labour in government gave devolution to London, to Scotland, to Wales, and their voice got louder. But it failed in Northern England because the North East people rejected it. And that has left a gap in the way our country is governed.
Andy Burnham, thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.